We are Deepthi and Janvi of 10th standard representing Navbharat Public School, Andhra Pradesh. The objective of this building is to use all maximum usage of renewable resources of energy and also using and recycling the energy resources. In this building we have shown rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting comprises of various components such as catchments, force mesh, gutters, conduits, first flush and filter. The catchment is a surface which directly receives rainfall. It may be a paved area like a terrace or an unpaved area like a lawn. This catchment surface can be made of reinforced cement concrete or galvanized iron or corrugated sheets which can be used for rainwater harvesting. A coarse mesh is placed on the rooftop to prevent the passage of debris. Gutters are all the channels around the edge of the sloping roof which are transfer the rainwater to the harvesting system. These gutters can be semicircular or rectangular in shape which can be folded to required shapes. Conduits are the pipes which transfer rainwater from the rooftop to the underground pit. First flush device is a valve that transfers the runoff from the first spell of rains and does not enter the system. This needs to be done to ensure that the first spell of rain carries a lot of air pollutants from the air and the catchment surface. And the filter. The natural filtration goes on in the underground pit by big rock, gravel, charcoal and fine sand. This fine sand need to be removed and cleaned at regular intervals so that it is aware of dust and all waste particles which is carried by rain. The filtered water from this underground pit is transferred to for the cleaning purposes and for washing and for many other uses. It can be used for toilet flushing and for gardening of the building. This mechanism is very effective for the people who are living where water scarcity is high. This building also accommodates wall insulation. In this building, two types of wall insulations are demonstrated. One is water wall insulation and the other is cavity wall insulation. In water wall insulation, the water is first pumped to the rooftop and is circulated to the four walls. The water is then made to fall through the embedded pipelines which are embedded in the concrete at the same time. And the water is collected and sent out through a common channel. As this water flows through these horizontal pipelines, it exchanges the temperature with the concrete and the pipelines and hence maintains the room temperature. This water wall insulation is suitable for the houses which are in the coastal areas. The oceanic water up to a depth of 1000 meters can be used for this purpose and can be sent back to the ocean. This method is also suitable for the houses which have a rainwater harvesting pit. This water is then circulated and can be sent back to the pit. So this is a water wall insulation, and the next type of wall insulation is cavity wall insulation. This cavity wall insulation is of two types. One is air-spaced wall insulation and the other is embedded wall sheet insulation. In air-spaced wall insulation, the walls of the house are two layered. One is a brick layer inside and the other is a block layer made up of hollow bricks outside. An air gap is left between the two layers of the walls to restrict the conduction of heat or cold between the external surroundings of the building to the interior. The next type of wall insulation is cavity wall insulation is embedded wall sheet insulation. In this method, a layer of insulating material such as sheet wool, cellulose, rock wool or straw can be placed to restrict the conduction of heat or cold from the external surroundings to the interior. A house with either of the types of wall insulation reduces the need of refrigerators, air conditioners and also reduces the number of fans in the house. This type of a house cuts the power cost and also reduces the harmful emissions to the environment. The annual energy consumption of a building can be reduced by using solar energy. In this building, the solar energy is used in two different ways. At first, the solar light and next the solar water heater. The solar light consists of a dome on the exterior part. In this dome, during the daytime, the light is collected in this dome and sent into a round metallic tube. This metallic tube has a reflecting surface inside. On multiple reflections, the light reaches the other end. On the other end, a diffuser is placed. By the diffuser uniformly spreads the light in the interior part of the building and prevent the people from hot spots from occurring. These solar lights can be used in the dark areas of a building such as corridors, staircase, the space between the compound wall and the building or in the underground parking. You can just come here and look at the car parking. Inside it is dark and as the sunlight falls over the solar lights, it illuminates the area. This building for the people who are living in slum areas who cannot afford for the solar lights, they can use another technique. They can take a bottle filled with a colloidal solution and place this bottle on the rooftop on the asbestos sheets. Now see, there is no light here. Now during the daytime, as the sunlight falls on this, the whole room gets illuminated. And next is solar water heater. A solar water heater consists of a box which is painted black from inside. This box contains copper tubes which are fitted in the form of a coil. These copper tubes are painted black from outside. This box also contains a thick glass lid. We have chosen only glass because glass has the property to absorb heat but does not let the heat escape from it. During the daytime, as the sunlight falls on these copper tubes, when the cold water runs to
this announcement is for class 10B students Suman Sharma and Anjali Raghuvar. Wherever you are, please report to the principal's office immediately. I repeat,